search terms. Plymouth area, Middleborough, exact towns, South Shore, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Sometimes it's, Northeast or,
right.
But an area where you service, and using that in different places in the website. I've even seen where people put a testimonial from a client on the website, and the testimonial is from, Mary Jones, Plymouth, Mass. And having that on the website actually helps it come up in the search engines under Plymouth.
Mass, yeah.
So depending on how much competition there is in your industry, it can help a lot. So if you're in real estate, it's very difficult. Insurance is very difficult because you have huge companies spending millions of dollars on pay-per-click advertising and
right.
things of that nature, and having little websites out there that come up at the top of the search engines. And if you're a local insurance agency, very difficult to get up above them. Same, with real estate. But for a plumber, it's not so difficult to get on the first page of Google for, a plumber, Plymouth, Mass, if that's, if those are your keywords. If you do it correctly, both on and off page.
So is this something that Joe, average person, can do? Is how do you get higher on that list? Is this something that, a web designer really has to do, or is it something that, Joe, guy who throws up a website with WordPress, can do?
Mm-hmm. Well, they can. Anybody can do the content on a website, and have that content be rich with keywords. So anyone can do that. Oftentimes, companies will hire a writer that understands the whole keyword concept to do the writing for them. A lot of people don't like to write.
Right.
As far as the back end, so you mentioned WordPress. WordPress has plugins for search engine optimization. So anyone even doing their own site can plug in the keywords into certain areas that will go into the background information.
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually found that custom websites work better. And unless you have an editor that like we talked about, like Dreamweaver, where you can do the coding in the back end, it's hard sometimes to get the keywords in the right places in the meta tags, we call them.
Yep.
And some templates even don't allow you to do that properly because, for instance, the page title is one thing. And that's what you'll see if you have several windows open in your browser and you look at the tab, and what it says in there comes from what's called a title meta tag. And so you put that in the background. And sometimes when you use a template, it doesn't allow you to do that differently on every page, and it has to be different on every page. So that's why if you're using an experienced web designer or a search engine optimization expert who knows those things, they will do that properly. There's also a lot of information about, for instance, getting into Google Places properly, the mapping, because that comes up even before the organic search results.
Right, because when you search on Google, in the beginning, when you first use Google, it says, "Can we use your current location?" So when you search, it says, "Okay, you're in Plymouth, Mass. So, we're going to focus on Plymouth, Mass."
But also, if you do a search for a product or service by town, then the listings will come up for that town, and so it's very important for a business owner to be there.
Right.
And you can do that yourself. You can do it for free. You may have to make sure that you fill it out properly and fill everything in there. And sometimes someone who does this day in and day out for a lot of businesses knows better how to do it, so you can actually get it done properly.
So, all right. So we've talked about how to get the site going, how to get some of the your search engine optimized. A lot of people have got mobile devices, and I've heard some estimates that the mobile devices are being used more than computers, so they're not at home.
Yes.
They're on these smaller screens.
Yes.
And I know that the web and websites in general are really moving towards that. They're optimizing it towards the mobile market. Can you talk a little bit about how that's done, about why it needs to be done, and how that's really where you're capturing the people today?
Absolutely. I mean, there's, I think, 12 million searches a day done on mobile devices or something.
Yeah.
And you hear young kids, they'll say, "Well, I haven't been on my computer in a week. I do all my searching and all my email on my phone.
Right.
So it is very important. I'm sure that everyone who has a smartphone has had the experience of looking for a website on their smartphone, and you have to,
scroll
expand it,
and contract, and
you can't read it, you lose it.
Yeah.
The first thing is that you mentioned Flash before, that there's a statistic that Flash isn't as effective. Well, Flash does not work at all on iPhones and iPads.
Yep.
And I think Apple did that purposely, and they're not going to change that.
No, I do think they did that purposely.
Yeah. So I know local business owners whose entire site was built in Flash, and if
Right.
you pull it up on an iPhone, it's blank.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
There's those 7 seconds.
there it goes. You didn't even get that far. So that's one of the more important things. But you want the user experience to be really good when they go to the site. So all the pictures need to fit into the frame on a smartphone or a mobile device. You need to have fat finger buttons so that when they can push them easily. You need to think about what people are doing when they're on a mobile device and maybe what they need to know as opposed to what information you have on your website. So they're not necessarily going to be looking for company history, but they are going to want to know how to log in, if there's a login situation, how to buy things, your locations, directions, phone number. So having buttons, for instance, click to call or tap to call, that kind of thing. You always want to have a call to action so that people can use the mobile device quickly and easily to get the information that you have. So you need to think about all those things. So generally it should be a separate site, and especially if you have a site built and you don't really want to change it right now, you build a separate site on a subdomain. Might be, m.birchwoodenterprises.com.
Mm-hmm.
And to have the correct layout and format that people can use. And then you have coding on the regular website that detects, okay, this person's coming from a mobile device, switch over to this website.
So that's all done. So, for example, I've got a site, and so what I need to do is do I need to buy a new domain?
No, you can
To
do what's
get
it's called a it's a subdomain.
Okay.
So you do it in the background of your hosting. You set that up. It doesn't cost extra.
Oh, okay. So we've talked about how to get it mobile. Where do you see the web going in the future? Do you see anything changing majorly in the future for web design and the web itself?
Well, I see it going completely mobile.
Yeah.
And I see it going the way of apps. Some people are even saying, people just want apps. They don't even look at websites.
Right.
I don't agree with that. And also apps are, they can be different things to different people too.
Right.
You can have Stop and Shop app where you scan items and purchase them quickly, or you can have an app that just basically leads you to your website.
Right.
I think people are going to be using websites for a long time. But I think also, and this is the beginning, 12 years ago when I started, I still had to convince some business owners that they needed a website.
Yeah. Yep.
And now it's kind of at the same point with mobile websites. I'm trying to convince business owners that no matter what their business is, they do need to have a mobile-ready website. So I think it's going to be a while before all businesses get to that point. And then the next thing will come along.
Of course. So if you could talk a little bit about Birchwood web design, about your business and just how people can contact you and where to go.
Sure. Well, I've been on the South Shore for 12 years. I offer a full range of internet marketing services, web design, mobile websites, hosting, search engine optimization, social media, which we didn't really get into, but that kind of is part of the whole search engine optimization because it creates viral marketing. So all of those services, I do provide free consultations for business owners so they can come and see what they do need to do to optimize their presence on the internet, because it's very, very important. The internet really basically has leveled the playing field.
Oh, it has.
It allows small business owners to compete with big business owners, but also you have to do it right, or it doesn't help you at all.
Right.
And you can do a lot of things free, and you can spend a lot of money doing things as well. And you can waste the money if you don't do it properly. So I try to guide people in the proper direction to make the most of their marketing dollars and be the most effective on the internet. So people can reach me at 617-851-6337 or birchwoodenterprises.com, and I have a free report on my website. I also like to help small business owners understand the internet, so I love to speak before groups and chambers and that type of thing to really educate business owners, because there's a lot of misinformation and conflicting information out there.
Sure is.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for coming. I think we've learned a lot about web design and websites. This has been Wrestling with Computers, and please email me at wbrewster@brewsterpcsolutions.com if you have any comments, questions, or there's something you'd like to learn more about technology so we can put it on the next show. And thank you to my producer and my cameraman, and don't stop learning about technology. We'll see you next time. Thank you.